Tonight, Minister Mary Isaac under fire for controversial comments. She responds to accusations that she was victim blaming. The Soufrière MP expresses shame and disappointment in the actions of constituents who rioted against police. And is the political future of Francisco Jopierre in jeopardy following a meeting with party leader Alan Chastanet and disgruntled constituents? The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 10th of March, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovelace St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Health Minister Mary Isaac has come under fire from women's rights advocate Catherine Seelys and everyday women in society following comments made in reference to a homicide where a woman's body was found along the Pigeon Island Causeway. The minister stated that alcohol was involved, and it seemed to many that she was stating that the homicide victim was drinking and put herself in harm's way. The comments have led to calls for Isaac's resignation and a public apology. In an interview with Hot 7 TV News on Wednesday, Minister Isaac was adamant that her comments were misinterpreted and that perhaps she did not express what she meant to say in a clear manner. Senator and Health Minister Mary Isaac made a recent appearance on talk show Newspin, where she made comments that left many offended and outraged because her comments seemed to suggest that the homicide victim found on the Pigeon Island Causeway was engaging in irresponsible behavior that led to her death.
Then we had the young girl that a month ago or so, she was found, she was raped, murdered and burnt.
Well, we don't know if alcohol had anything to do
with
this.
All the reports are indicating that she was drinking with some friends. So that is how it started. And then she disappears, and then she reappears, dead, burnt. I can never forget that image.
Advocate for women and children's rights Catherine Seelys was outraged by the comments and further called for the minister to be sacked.
You have Mary Isaac on Newspin accusing a dead woman who was brutally murdered, how she was out drinking, she was raped, when the police has not made any such pronouncement. Nobody knows where Mary Isaac gets her information.
Amid the firestorm of controversy surrounding her comments, the health minister insists that they were misunderstood. She spoke to Hot 7 TV News on Wednesday.
I did not intend for my statement to be interpreted as though I was victim blaming. Because as a woman, I have opined over the fact that many of the crimes perpetuated against women and girls do not get resolved as much as I would like to see them get resolved. I can recall many women and girls who have been victims of violence in our society. And these crimes are still there on the record books. They have not been resolved. And I would like to see these crimes being resolved. So my statement was in no way meant to blame the victim. As we are saying, they are the victims of these crimes. People are committing those crimes against women. And my comment was, I believe that people in their right minds would not commit such crimes if they were upright and sober. So I am saying that I believe alcohol plays a role in the crimes that are perpetuated against women in society, especially this young lady and some other ones that, I can recall. I was in no way blaming the victims in this case. It may have come out that way, but I was simply saying that whoever it was, whoever the people were who committed this heinous crime, they must have been under some kind of influence. Because I don't think normal people do things like that.
Minister Isaac says she regrets having caused hurt or offense to women in society, particularly ahead of International Women's Day.
I want to send out the message to them that I, knowing the person that I am, I would never ever suggest any such thing against women, because as a woman, I know what it is that women go through. When I heard the statistics about 1 in every 5 women have been raped, or abused, now we are saying during COVID, it has gone to 2 out of every 3. And that is extremely high. I know of these statistics. I know of friends, family, and people who have experienced violence from the hands of people who were intoxicated, people who were drunk. And I would in no way imply or mean to say to blame the victims in any way whatsoever. So these women in society, and especially on the heels of International Women's Day, and it is out of my frustration with knowing that so many of these crimes go unsolved, that I made the statement that I made. It was not meant to anger anyone or to say that I am blaming the victim.
Isaac's critics argue that she has quickly gained a reputation for making reckless and uninformed comments, and that she is unfit to hold a ministerial position, particularly given her recent comments. The MP for Soufrière Fort-Saint-Jacques has expressed disappointment in his constituents after an incident on Sunday evening that left police officers running for cover after attempting to break up a social gathering after curfew hours. The MP says such behavior will not be tolerated. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more in this report.
Police Commissioner Milton Daisy has chided all involved in the riot against police at Barons Drive, Soufrière. In videos that have since gone viral, missiles were seen being hurled at officers as they attempted to break up a social gathering that was held in contravention of curfew restrictions. The parliamentary representative for Soufrière Fort-Saint-Jacques, Harold Stanislas, said such behavior is reprehensible and he is disappointed in his constituents.
I strongly condemn the actions and behaviors of some of the persons who were involved in the altercation with the police on Sunday evening. We are in the middle of a pandemic which has created a medical crisis for us in the country, and we have measures and protocols in place to mitigate the spread of this coronavirus, this COVID-19. And we are expecting that our citizens, our constituents in Soufrière, to follow those measures, follow those protocols, and abide by the laws of the country. So under no circumstances will I condone any such behavior. It is wrong, it must be condemned, and I'm hoping that the residents of not only Barons Drive, but the rest of the constituency and St. Lucia will not find themselves involved in such large social gatherings and break the curfew time which has been imposed.
Stanislas concedes that there is a great deal of COVID fatigue that leads to restlessness on the part of members of the public, but he underscores that now is not the time to be frolicking given the intensity of the fight that the entire country is waging against the silent killer COVID-19. To date, there have been 46 COVID-19 related deaths in St. Lucia.
We understand persons are frustrated, persons want to go out and have a good time and socialize and party and fet, but now is not the time for it. Now is the time to observe the measures, observe the protocols. I am also calling on them to get vaccinated, because this is the only way that we can achieve herd immunity and be able to have some semblance of normalcy back in the country and in Soufrière. So it is a call for them to observe the protocols.
The MP is calling on his constituents to respect and cooperate with law enforcement officers.
The police are there to do a job. They're there to maintain law and order. And every citizen of this country, every constituent of Soufrière Fort-Saint-Jacques must respect the law. They must abide by the laws of the country and respect the police when they're out carrying out their duties. So I'm calling on the citizens of Soufrière, the constituents of Soufrière Fort-Saint-Jacques, to please respect law and order, cooperate with the police when they're out there doing their jobs, work with them, observe the protocols, the measures.
Stanislas says the incident is a blemish on a town known for being peaceful. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Thank you very much, Genevieve. The Police Welfare Association says it is appalled at the reaction and comments from members of the public regarding the incident involving members of the public and police officers in Soufriere. The PRO of the Police Welfare Association says had the tables been turned, there would be outrage.
The Police Welfare Association is expressing concern and disappointment about the actions of members of the public in Soufriere that saw police seeking cover after coming under attack. The Public Relations Officer of the PWA, Stanislas Albert, says those who risk their lives to serve and protect deserve more from the very people that they are trying to protect.
Welfare is not very pleased about what happened because it doesn't fall well that police officers now have to go on reports, and when they do, instead of having to deal with the reports, they have incidents where a person would send missiles after them and then they have to run to safeguard their lives. It is one that we will not accept at any time. And the sad thing about it is that that incident happened on Sunday, and then until a statement was made, nobody would say anything about it. In fact, we saw where at one media house on Monday that some talk shows, they made mention of it and they were just merely laughing at the incident.
Albert argues that had the situation been reversed, there would be loud cries from the public. However, this time around, members of the public seem to be mocking officers instead. He is wary that the public is becoming all too comfortable with disrespecting law enforcement officials.
If that situation was the other way around, and the members of the public were the ones who had to run for their lives, you would hear the outcry that would have happened the following day, or maybe the same night. But now that it is the police officers who have to run to safeguard their lives, it's more things that nobody cares. And that has always been the case here. And look at some of the videos you have where the wardens, along with police officers, are trying to arrest persons who are not adhering to the protocol in the city. And listen to the talk shows, you would hear persons calling in and say, oh, just the mask they're not wearing and the police officers want to arrest them and blah, blah, blah. But now that has happened and nobody is saying anything.
He says the individuals involved need to turn themselves in if they have not yet already, and indicated that the PWA will continue supporting their officers as incidents of that nature will not be condoned.
We will not tolerate at any time that we are aware as police officers that sometimes when you go out there on reports, you have to put your life on the line. But to go out there and to have persons hurling missiles at you is one that we will not tolerate at any time. And that is why I stand in solidarity with the police commissioner in the statement that he has made. Although it was said that some persons reported themselves yesterday, those who have not, we are still calling on them to do so. Because we will not at any time sit down and tolerate persons sending missiles at police officers and damaging the government's property like they did on Sunday.
Albert says a zero-tolerance attitude must be adopted by the entire society when it comes to such attacks on police. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Stay with us. Still to come, the family of a young man found dead inside his home speaks. Is Francisco Japierre in danger of being replaced by the UWP? The party's chairman speaks to Hot 7 TV News. And the Ministry of Health touts the public response to its vaccination campaign.